Hello, it's Ida Williams with the Sub Hub, and I'd like to tell you about my day yesterday working in a music classroom. Now, it was fun, it was interesting, it was challenging. 3 words we can always use to describe subbing, right? I was unsure about signing up for music class. I've done other specials, I've done PE, and I've subbed in art, which I love. I always take those classes whenever I can. Music is not really something I know a lot about, so I was kind of hesitant, but I thought, well, maybe the teacher has a plan. A video on the world's greatest composers, studying classical music could be something that a music class does, but no, I went in there, there was no plan. I was in a danky basement, dusty. However, the teacher did have a lot of instruments on his desk, baskets full of tambourines, cymbals, triangles, bells, chimes. There were bongo drums. Keyboards with headphones were around the perimeter of the room. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to have to kind of treat this like open gym. He didn't even leave me a note. The only thing I had was a schedule. And by treating it like open gym, I mean, in open gym, you give the kids a choice. They have this game, they have that, they have the basketball, they have the, various equipment that they're allowed to use. And they just do whatever they want. So I realized it was going to have to be an open gym kind of day. Now, my first class, I didn't have a class. That helped. I had time to get to know the teacher next door, who also happened to be the ISS, that's internal suspension teacher. So that, helped prep me for my day, that I had my support system in place should I need it. Because I noticed on my schedule that 7th and 8th graders were going to be in the afternoon. And as many teachers know, they can be the most difficult, and especially in the afternoon, and especially in the spring, which we're in right now. Just coming back, the Monday after spring break could be a challenging Monday anyway. Oops, just lost my earring, so I'll take that one out. So I'm not just wearing one earring like a pirate. Okay, so the first class, I did not have a class, had a chance to prep. My next group was ukulele. Now I was really excited about this because I played my stepfather's baritone uke. In high school I used to play it a little bit, and I felt this is a day where I am going to actually learn from my students. The ukulele group was only 5 students, and it was great. They were preparing for a concert. They got out their phones so that they could play the song because the teacher did not leave the laptop. I had no computer. That happens sometimes. So that's a really appropriate use of a cell phone in a classroom, and I was happy to let them do that. And I learned a little bit about tuning the ukulele, and I watched them, and they were struggling. They had no teacher who they said did it so quickly for them. And I thought, well, this is actually a good exercise for them to see if they can tune it on their own. And, they didn't get them tuned perfectly, but they could still practice their chords for their song, which was Photograph by Ed Sheeran. Really nice song. And they were practicing this for their concert. The next class I had, well, first let me tell you about the poster on the wall. Yeah, the teacher had a poster on the wall of a statue with a pigeon on its head. And the quote was, "Some days you're the statue, and some days you're the pigeon." The pigeon is pooping all over the statue's head. We have these kind of statues in our park right here. Boy, would never want a statue erected to me for any reason. And as I looked at that poster, and it was kind of quiet in the morning, but I was thinking about my afternoon, I thought, I wonder if I'm going to be the pigeon today or the statue. So, interesting quote for a classroom. After the ukulele group, I had 6th grade, and I did my open gym concept. Well, they did have chairs, so they were came in, sat down in a semicircle, which they did. I was happy about that. And I explained to them, first I explained my system, green, yellow, red. Now I forgot my construction papers, so I had to make my own little signs. Green, you're good to go. I used a green marker. Yellow, slow down, stop and think. Red, voices off, you're seated, call to security, whatever. I explained my little system of my behavior system. And my name, of course. And I went around the room to get to know their names. I did something different because I know kids, sometimes they don't want to tell you your name. So I said, what name would you choose for yourself if you could choose your own name? So I went around the room. Most students told me their own name, but a few told me like the name they would choose, like Jackson or something, Aristotle, something different. And I had no attendance sheet, so I wasn't doing attendance. It really didn't matter, and it took up 10 minutes of our time, and it was fun. It allowed me to get to know the students a little bit. I did have one sort of helper student named Erica, who is just one of these kids that her mom probably says, oh, I only have one child, but she's equal to 10. Well, that was Erica, and Erica told me about every single instrument in that classroom during the time when kids were trying out everything. And they were all over the classroom, and it got very loud. But I must say, they never misused anything. They had so much fun. They said, we never get to try out these instruments. I said, well, today's your day. You just have to take care of them for the teacher. So during this time, Erica came up to me, every 30 seconds with all the various instruments, explaining to me, this is made from a gourd, this is ancient, this is from Africa, they used to play it when calling cows in, and yeah, it was fun. And then someone had the bright idea, which I loved it, used it in the next two classes to make a conga line. And so we all went around the classroom with a leader leading us in the conga line. It goes something like this. And you can do 360 spins inside the conga line. Super fun. And of course, I had 5 or 6 kids off to the side coloring who just don't like noise that much. And that was fine. That was great too. I was glad I brought my coloring. And the next two classes were pretty much the same. With 7th and 8th graders, we played Zip Zap Zoo. Zip Zap Zoo is a little bit like Duck Duck Goose for older kids. You point to someone, you go zip. They point to someone and go zap. They point to someone and go zoo. You're going around the room, zip, zap, zoo. And we played that at the end of class. And I said, I have Starburst for you when you're lined up and ready to go. And it was a fun day. It really was. But as a sub, you have to have a high tolerance for noise in a situation like this. As long as kids are being respectful, not running around throughout the classroom. Actually did put the drumsticks away. They had to bang the bongo drums with their hands, which there are some techniques for that. And I saw them all trying out things and doing really well, and I was really happy about my day. But I don't recommend going into music class without a plan, at least without a bunch of music games at your disposal. So, thanks. Have a great time subbing.